This is our journey. We should leave together.
Okay, off we go.
Yeah, it's already been a week, y'all.
I know. You know what? Usually I'm like, oh my God, we haven't podcasted in months and it's been like 3 days.
I think that's what happens when we don't see anybody else in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time makes no sense.
Time
right
is
now.
just completely compressed.
You're the only people I see anymore.
Are you saying
A knowing look at Curtis.
Are you saying that we're living in time compression?
There was some sort of compression of time. And it sucks. I'm excited for disc 4 of COVID-19.
All right, what did we do last time?
Titus is very hungry and went on an adventure.
Oh yeah, and he's still hungry.
Yeah, that poor guy.
He's like,
Poor
someone
guy.
could be in there. Someone could die.
He was really culturally insensitive last time.
Oh my God, he's such a dick.
And I think last week I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know how the next part plays out. I forget from before. Like, it'll probably be fine and everything will be. And then like after this week, like spoiler for this episode, I guess. But I'm like, no, he had no fucking. Like, what the fuck? Dude?
Yeah, he
like,
literally had no reason to go.
This is what I get for giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I know.
He just, so we left off. Cloud had yet another dream. This time he's actually woke up in a bed.
Don't correct him. Let him.
Okay, sorry.
Was it a dream?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So yeah, he had a dream about what
He
was
said
it?
Cloud. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm still running Cloud on all my checks. I made that joke last season, but
I had already forgotten about that joke from last season.
in my game, I named him Cloud.
Oh yeah, he had
by
a
the
dream.
way-
He had a dream
oh.
just where he was on his yacht as a little boy, and
Relatable.
and talked about how he hates his dad.
He has the shittiest voice. I don't think we mentioned that last week. Where it's just like, I don't care if he comes back.
Oh yeah, it's Titus'
I hate
voice
him.
doing a little kid voice.
Oh, is it the same voice actor?
I don't know. No, it's probably just a girl or whatever trying to sound like a little boy, but
Oh.
like
Yeah.
kind of like a less likable Ash Ketchum, I guess.
Yeah. It's a low bar. Shots
I
fired
was like,
against Ash.
I'm gonna wait and see how the other ones feel about Ash Ketchum before I say anything. But the most important factoid of all, I'm Curtis.
I'm Carl.
I'm Alex.
Hey, and this is the Every FFF podcast, baby.
And Curtis remembered to
It took us 4
introduce us.
episodes to know what the name of this podcast is. It's a cold open. Titus wakes up, not in the water,
He runs into the fucking cloister
just for some reason. He's
after
suddenly-
everybody's like, "Hey,
yeah.
don't do that. It's fine."
Everyone's talking about how like there's this sacred rite that's happening right now, and there's a summoner's apprentice that's inside there, and
Yeah.
it's this big event. Literally everyone in this village is talking about it, and we're like in a church with a bunch of like statuary and shit, and like this very ornate staircase that leads to this like sacred area. And Titus is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go in there and try to save this person who probably needs help because it's taking longer than everyone expected.
Yeah, right.
As everyone else is like, hey, don't fucking do that, and he just
fucking
does it
white
anyway.
savior, everyone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, some
So-
real missionary shit.
So he's in a.
He didn't even say if it was dangerous. Like, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, sometimes it is. So yeah, anyway.
They could stub their toe, get infected. You know.
There's some stairs in there, man. You never.
Yeah, so
You know how
After
many
he-
American stairs kill every year? It's dangerous in there. Sorry. go ahead.
after he barges in, the screen goes black, and he says,
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all.
and then we just get like a little like we're in a weird room with a bunch of weird like
The unknowns from Pokemon
yeah.
are written across the wall.
It says don't trust Team Rocket.
But it's like a shrine from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Very
Kinda does
very
feel-
similar.
We got
yeah.
this kind of eerie, I don't know, spooky synth music over it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I actually like this too, and I
Me
think it's
too.
very, it's good.
It's very, haunted.
Yeah, But like you said, there's this text all over the wall, and we kind of get a little tutorial message, right?
Yeah.
That pops up, and it kind of explains to us, okay, you're in the Cloister of Trials. If you solve the puzzles, you'll be taken to the Chamber of the Faith.
Faith
The
spelled-
Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets.
And it just
Jock Quidditch.
it tells you to examine objects to open the way.
Yeah, and faith is spelled with a Y because it's fantasy.
Because
It's more
it's-
mystical.
Because it's a name of a kid from some suburban family.
Yeah.
Like Jaden and
Yeah. The one picture, the woman
Shayla.
who has all of the names of all
Yeah,
of her
right,
kids that
yeah.
are all just ridiculous.
Faith
and they're
of
all
the Y.
crossed out and they're like, we have to stop her. She's killing her kids.
Yeah, so this is going to be a recurring thing. We're going to go through these chamber of secrets. I keep wanting to say that. God damn it.
hope you like balls. Hope you're not tired of balls.
We keep going through these Cloister of Trials throughout the course of the game. And we'll kind of find out why that is here in a minute.
Why is it called the Cloister of Trials? Do we know?
We'll kind of find
'Cause-
out some of that.
Actually, I don't know what a cloister is.
Originally, it was called the Shelter of Trials, and we've
But it
reached it when it
evolved.
evolved. Yeah.
Yeah. As development evolved.
Soon we will get to the slow bro of Trials.
That's right. But it's essentially like these like puzzle dungeons, right? That are solved exclusively through pressing A on objects.
Yeah, the more I think about it, it's actually extremely Breath of the Wild with the shrines there. Like
Yeah.
almost exactly. Like there's orbs involved and
Yeah.
shit. Like
Put it in a hole.
yeah.
And pretty quickly, like, there's not much to interact with in this first room. There's like in front of us, there's like a glyph, as it describes it, and some text on the right wall.
It looks almost like a compass rose.
It does.
Yeah, and there's different parts of it that kind of light up in a different like cardinal direction, I guess.
Yeah.
They correspond to a certain, I think, elements or type of orbs. We'll find out. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's really not much to interact with here. We interact with the glyph, and it opens a door where the other text is. You know, we're allowed to go further into the cloister from there.
Yeah.
Which is almost like, I almost say it's like a tutorial of like, okay, talk to random things and random things will happen.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's kind of similar to the first puzzle that we had where we're in a very limited space. There's only so much we can kind of do. and
Exactly.
there's only so much you can interact with, and it's just a matter
Right.
of getting it in sequence
Yeah.
and bringing it to the place.
Once you know, it takes like 3 minutes to do the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
I watched Alex do all of it and then somehow still managed to fuck it up and have to relive my save when I
It's
played
easy to
it.
get disoriented because there's so you go down the stairs, eventually turn around, and then there's like a hallway that's very narrow but turns like 2 right turns, and I kind of get confused where
Right.
on that sequence I am. Like, okay, there's a place here to put orb and a place here, but I forget which
Right.
part. I forget where in the hallway I am. half the
Also,
time.
this kind of, I feel like here we kind of get a better feeling for how like navigating in this world is, and it's like a little clunky by today's standards, where like you'll be running in one direction. It's kind of like I almost got like early Resident Evil game vibes
Sure.
of it, where you're like you're running towards the camera,
And the camera
then the camera
switches.
shifts, and then like you're going in the direction that like you're going in a different direction than you want to because you have to like compensate for the change in the,
Your button presses need to be different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's
it's
like
a
trying
little
to climb the ladder at the first Maka reactor.
yeah. It's a little bit
Not as
clunky.
bad.
It's not like the worst. I wasn't like this fucking sucks, like 0 out of
Yeah.
10 or anything. But I was like, oh, this noticeable just
at
because
least-
we're spoiled by games today.
At very least, if you keep holding a direction when the cameras change, it will continue to push you in the direction you were holding.
Yeah.
So you can like walk far enough into a room to get your bearings and then experiment with what directions mean what. So I
Yeah.
do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But as we go down these stairs, though, about halfway through it, we find a little altar sticking out of the wall with a green orb sitting on top of it. And communicating with it kind of gives us the real tutorial about how these cloisters work. And it tells us that there are different kinds of spheres that will get us where we need to go. It says glyph spheres open the way to the chamber of the faith. Destruction spheres open the way to hidden treasure. And then the most hilarious fucking tutorial of all. It seems also Besaid spheres are also necessary. Thanks.
Localization team got lazy.
It's just like, oh yeah, maybe these. And we're also introduced to the fact that we can only carry one sphere at a time.
Yeah.
Even
which
though
is the-
Titus clearly has 2 hands.
Yeah, and is clearly a sportsman,
A sportsman.
so you would think he would be able to.
He grew up only handling one ball at a time.
He's in like the basketball equivalent of like palming the ball.
Yeah, it's like
It's against the rules of carry 2 blitz balls at once.
exactly. Yeah, it's like in soccer, like no one touches other than the goalies.
Right. But this one has a glyph sphere in it, and we remove it and then take it further down the stairs, and there's a locked door down there with a opening for a sphere to go in. Thus far, we only have one, so we place the glyph sphere in it. The door opens.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Again, kind of showing us how this is going to play out. And then we're kind of led into the actual puzzle of the area. So like you were saying, Alex, it's kind of like a hallway with 2 right turns. It's like a U shape.
It's not very big.
It's not
Yeah.
very big. But there's at least 2 altars in it. and some interesting wall designs as we go through it.
More of the same glyphs that we saw in the first room,
Right.
which I forgot about, which is why later I kind of got stuck. I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go now.
Yeah, right. But one of the interesting things, though, is once this door opens, the sphere stays in it. So you can actually back up to the door that you just opened, grab the glyph sphere out of there, and take it with you.
Yeah, which isn't like you can see it in there, but it's also very easy to miss. You could
Easy to miss.
You could just kind of power through this thing and get the next sphere, place it in the spot that you need it, and then get like the last thing that you have to do to like get past this puzzle and completely miss like an item that you can get, which I did the first time.
So every cloister has somewhere inside it a destruction sphere. And like the tutorial was saying, that opens the way to something hidden. So every cloister has some hidden item somewhere in it. And it actually matters that we do it, too, for a side quest in the end game that will actually calculate how many of these destruction spheres we've done.
Oh, interesting.
And so if we want to get everything, we need to do them. In this case, since it's on the way, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it.
Sure.
We grab the glyph sphere out of the door. You can place it in another holster, I guess, a little wall socket.
Podium.
Yeah. Well, this is not even a podium. It literally
Oh,
is just a
yeah, this
socket
is just
in the wall.
like, yeah.
Oh,
And,
right.
And the wall raises up.
So you're not getting that one back.
Yeah, you're not getting that one back. That one is now on the ceiling.
Yeah.
But in the little hallway that it opened, there's your destruction sphere. So you're finally able to get that. And now, again, you're only able to carry one at a time. So to get the next areas to open up that you need to get to, even if you want to use the destruction sphere, you're going to have to put the destruction sphere somewhere because it doesn't open the way to what you need.
Yeah, you can kind of just like pop it back in the door or
In the first altar.
Yeah, any open space. And this is kind of a thing where when I was doing this, it reminded me of that like old riddle about having like a sheep, a fox, and like a bale of hay or something.
Yeah, and you can't
having
put
to
all three on the boat.
Yeah, you can only put 2 on the boat at a time, but you have to get them across before they like,
Yeah, it's very much
And then
like
you're
that.
like, oh, I didn't think about the fact that I could just keep one here and then pick it back up and like all of this stuff.
Leapfrog it over you.
Yeah, exactly. Simple puzzle, but like
I actually,
easy to like overlook the way to solve it.
I will say, I think that some of them, and we'll talk about them as we get to each one, some of them are a little bit weaker than others, but for the most part, I think that they're pretty well done.
Nice.
Like, there's some stuff that isn't quite logical, that don't make a lot of sense, and we'll get to that when we get to the Jose Temple. But for now, though, I like the puzzles.
Yeah,
I think
it was good.
they're nice little brain scratchers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also rewarding to not just like barge through.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But at some point, we find another altar, and then at the very end of the hallway, there's a dead end. And across the hall from the altar is more of those like glowing symbols. And if we try to interact with those, that wall rolls up too. However you want to say it, it raises up and shows a hallway. And it's a cool as shit hallway with all these like laser light lines like lining it. It's real fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like this beautiful kind of blue neon. It looks like something out of like Twilight Princess a little bit.
Yeah,
It's got
yeah.
this nice like, but there's like another,
A Besaid sphere.
all the lines are kind of coming from it like a, I don't know, like a star or something.
Or
Yeah.
or it looks kind of like if you're looking at like a chip or like a motherboard or something, and it has all the different like paths
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
Very similar to that.
Like a
Very
circuit
cool.
board, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Besaid sphere that we get out of there is the only real place we haven't put anything yet is the pedestal right across the hall from it. So you pop that in there, that wall gets out of the way, and now you're able to move that pedestal around.
Yeah.
But before we do, now we can go back and get that destruction sphere, pop it in the place where the Besaid sphere was, and then all those lions that kind of emanate out of it take like its energy, right?
Yeah.
And it like blows up, it explodes the hallway at the end of the hallway.
It's really cool too because it just goes through like one of the tracks. Like there's a bunch just kind of like spider webbing out from
when you
the
take
center of it, and it just goes like one like purple laser light that just goes across and goes all the way down the hallway and just blows up this fucking wall.
Right. Which makes the cloister not very like resettable.
Yeah.
Like everything else could like reset somehow through like magic and mechanics, but like we've destroyed that wall now.
Who knows how the sorcerer got through here?
Yeah, right. But then we get the Rod of Wisdom.
It could be like an escape room where like a secret wall opens up and a whole like staff comes and resets everything. And
This is very escape roomy.
Yeah. Or very like spooky haunted house.
Yeah. But yeah, we get the Rod of Wisdom from behind that wall,
smart rod.
which I will say is a wild fucking piece of equipment.
It fucking, yeah.
If I remember right, off my last playthrough, I think I kept this item equipped on Yuna for like 3/4 of the game.
On who?
On who?
On who?
Whoever might
On
use
Cloud?
this.
No. Well, here's the thing. I do want to bring that up. I have in my screenshot here right now, like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, let me see what the deal with this is. The cool thing about this is if it's equipped, you get 3 abilities from it. 1 is magic plus 5%. 2 is magic plus 3%. And then an ability called Sensor, which allows you to kind of see...
It's like scan.
Yeah, it's like scan. It's just automatically at the start of battle. So if this person who has it equipped is in battle, you can see hit points and some other stats and things like that.
That also works with any of your characters. So
But-
as long as that character's in your party,
Yeah.
any of the other characters can scan.
Yeah. What I do like about it, though, is if you look at the top left, where it usually will say the name of whoever is
Who
going
it's
to equip
for.
it, it just fucking says Yuna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like immediately. Like, it's just like, spoilers, we're going to meet Yuna in like a minute. But it's just like you get this item, and I was just like,
Santa left the little like to Yuna tag on it.
look in the tunk.
But yeah, so now there's not really anything else to do here, except for oddly push that pedestal into the middle of the room.
Yeah, literally just straight path.
So I was confused until a few seconds ago where you're saying like there are other cloisters. Like this doesn't seem like much of a puzzle because you just push this pedestal straight into a hole. There's like no little maneuvering. You just hold forward and
It's very tutorial-y.
Yeah, this is very much like, oh, that was weird that
But-
it had so much gravitas when it's just
Yeah.
one room essentially. But as soon as we do that, it goes right into like not a what's it called, like cutscene.
It's a cutscene. It's not an FMV.
Not an FMV. That's what I mean. And Waka is just in here as well, and he says, "What's gotten into you?" Which I think is a funny line because he literally just met us like a couple 12 hours ago,
And we've been acting like nothing
and
but a fucking
just being
asshole
a fucking
the whole time.
Yeah, as my parents would say when we were growing up, he's been acting like nothing but a smacked ass the entire time.
But yeah, he does say, he's like, what's gotten into you? And then immediately he's like,
Hey, it's okay. Only summoners, apprentice summoners, and their guardians can enter here. It's a tradition, very important.
I love how Titus then tries to get out of being in trouble. And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, what about you?" And then he's
Yeah.
like, "I'm a guardian, motherfucker."
he says, I'm a guard. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, because like, I will say once again, like, Waka, cool Waka, watching out for us. Even though like we've literally done about the worst thing we could do,
Yeah.
like possibly do. He's like, it's fine. You like I guess he knows how to explain it afterwards. He's like, look, I'll just tell him that you're new. It's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Whatever. We're so far in here now.
I love too that like Titus does the thing of just repeating the last word that he heard, and he says, "A guardian," and then
Yeah.
Waka just does a hilarious shrug animation as like this like platform that
Yeah.
we're on starts to descend and like
Oh, yeah.
change around a bit.
He doesn't even like pull us out of the cloister. He's just like, let's get on this platform.
like, well,
We're
we-
already halfway there. May as well go the rest of the way.
Yeah, we came this far.
Yeah. But he explains it and he says, summoners go on a pilgrimage to pray at every temple in Spira, and guardians protect them. The guardian's in there now. One of them's got a short fuse, and who knows what the other's thinking.
Hell yeah.
Well, now that we've come this far, may as well go the whole way.
Fuck yeah.
And you walk into the larger chamber. And this is not the chamber of the faith, by the way. Like this
This is just the
atrium.
atrium of
the atrium.
faith.
the penultimate chamber in the cloister.
their reception area.
Right. And there's some people waiting for us here.
Yeah, this is a nice
Well, they
room
weren't.
as well.
They didn't know we were coming. I don't think
They weren't waiting for
They're
us.
not waiting for us. They're waiting
Yeah.
for someone else. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we walk in. Waka kind of puts his hand to like his forehead, like kind of like a face palm, I think.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there, and there's a woman sitting on a staircase that's leading up to, I guess, what the Chamber of Faith is.
As we described in the first episode, a goth GF.
Yes, the goth GF that we saw earlier, and
The first thing we ever saw.
yeah, and she says,
What are you doing here? Didn't think we'd be able to handle it.
We're in trouble.
and Waka's just like, no, it's not that. It's just, and then he leans over to Titus and he says, "See, I told you she gets mad easy." It's like he didn't really.
well,
but
he said,
mentioned something.
He said one of them's got a short fuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know which one of them he was referring to.
Which one's the master and which one's the apprentice?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. And speaking of which, the other one is like an anthropomorphic man. He's like incredibly tall, right?
Yeah,
Like, he's
very tall.
enormous.
Big blue cat man.
yeah, Big the cat.
Would you say a cat? I would think a dog.
I was thinking more like a lion.
Yeah, he looks kind of
Really?
more like a.
Maybe-
Oh yeah, his face is very lion.
Maybe he's a lion.
Ooh. You're right. Yeah, his face is very much like a lion, but like he's blue though as well.
Abdi.
And he has like some like what would you call it? Not headdress, but he has like some hair accessories, kind of akin to like Red from Seven.
Yeah. He's
make
also got a
sense?
kick-ass beard.
He does.
He's got like white or like lighter blue like hair and, and a beard and a fucking like horn.
Yeah,
sticking
and
out
it's
of the front
broken.
of it. Yeah, it's like a broken horn.
Oh, it's fun. It's badass.
Really fucking
This dude
cool.
looks like a motherfucker. He looks cool as
He
shit.
kind of looks like a Street Fighter character.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Or like a Soul Calibur.
Right.
Yeah. This woman who we've met here walks up to Waka, and Titus just interjects and says, "Is the summoner all right?"
Yeah.
And she just looks right at him and just slowly is like, "Who are you?" Like real pissed.
Then you get to enter your name again.
Yeah. And then you do the Fallout 3 character creation.
That was
Who are you? No, wait, it's Skyrim.
Yeah, I always make a save right
too.
before that, so I don't have to wait for the whole intro.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's
Who
good.
are you?
You and that horse thief over there.
Although that intro is very good for the sake of like because it's been
you're awake.
re-released so many times
Yeah.
that people have just turned it into
Yeah,
a fucking-
right.
Yeah.
But then we hear a sound. There's something coming from. So we should say too, at the back of this room is another set of like incredibly ornate stairs, and the entrance to a chamber that's blocked off by a really weird door. It's like an upside down tier shape almost, where the doorway isn't that shape, but the door is. So I guess you could like crawl in between the little gap if you really wanted to.
It almost looks like a shield is like in
looks
the
like a
middle
shield.
of it, and there's still like you could crawl through, but
Yeah, but we hear a sound from it, and that door opens up. Right, like the shield looking door kind of raises up, and we get a nice CGI FMV.
yeah,
Here.
it's really nice.
And we kind of like see like a light emanating from it, and like this person's like stumbling out of it.
Yeah,
right?
and we
looking
just-
exhausted,
we see,
Real
like-
sneepy.
real sneepy.
Incredibly sneepy, a very pretty like floral print dress.
Yeah.
And it kind of just
Kind
like,
of a kimono.
yeah, it
Yeah.
tilts up, and this woman here is kind of like she seems out of it and is like stumbling a little bit, makes it to the stairs, and then kind of starts to trip a little bit, and then Titus like instantly kind of rushes forward to catch this woman. And immediately, that big cat guy,
Yeah.
like instantaneously, is just like there and catches her, like before Titus even gets a chance. And it's just like, yo, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and dude, she is sweaty. I
Oh,
love-
she is, and then it's very
so
well
sweaty.
animated.
It's
like there's
so
like,
well animated.
You see
It's-
like a single like sweat
bead.
just roll down her face.
Very
Yeah.
dewy.
Very dewy.
I've noticed that like playing this now is just comparing to past games and also just replaying it a few times.
Carl's showing us the Titus
That's
face
another
again.
dumb Titus face.
There's a lot. They're really showing off what they can do with water in this game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's like we can make things wet. Everything's gonna be wet as
Yeah.
soon as if we can
Yeah,
make it wet,
right.
it's gonna be
it's
wet.
like a fucking Gatorade commercial.
Like,
Like,
and the-
Michael Jordan with like the lime green sweat.
But she looks like we felt during the first like 4 episodes of recording.
Oh my God,
the FF7 season
During the heat wave.
Yep.
It took me a few times to play through the notes that she has 2 different colored eyes.
She
Yeah,
does.
she's very Bowie.
She has a blue and a green eye,
She's
yeah.
very Raymond from Animal Crossing.
which you might want to go ahead and put a pin in that as well.
Don't put pins in your eyes.
Oh yeah, put a pin in her eyes. But that actually is an important point, though, that she does have a green and blue eye.
And then she says something very kick-ass.
Oh, she does.
Which is a very like recognizable line for me. It just, I've done it. I have become a summoner. And the reason that that's recognizable for me is because I remember, like, I think this game came out and I hadn't played any Final Fantasies yet, and I remember seeing commercials for it, and I just remember hearing that line like all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, damn, that's evocative as shit. I wanna figure out what this shit's about.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
While we're in this FMV, for some reason, Waka looks extremely pale skinned in all the FMVs.
I don't have a picture of him.
I'm gonna pass them to you.
Yeah, he really does. Oh my god, I didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he looks very white with like kind of blondish looking hair, like a troll doll. But
Dude,
I-
he is
I-
jacked as fuck. I know
He
I said that
is.
last time, but like, goddamn.
my theory is it's the animation team, the game dev team were working separately, and it's like character
Yeah.
designs fluctuate. Like even the
Yeah.
Titus looks a little more Asian coded in like
Yeah.
in the
the-
FMVs,
yeah.
but he looks more like, as I said the other day, Ellen DeGeneres plus Leonardo DiCaprio. If you look in the menu,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, it's just interesting.
It's definitely very interesting how they do that.
I feel like, did we talk about the other character and what she looks like? The goth
GF.
I feel like we get a pretty good look at
Well,
her
I'll say
in
this right now.
We'll get a better look at her later, I think.
Yeah, so we'll probably talk about it then.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Because I was gonna say that's the end of that cutscene. As soon as she says, "I've done it, I've become a summoner,"
Yeah.
we immediately are back outside.
Yeah.
I mean, not outside, but we're in the temple now.
Yeah.
We're no longer in the cloister.
And a crowd has gathered.
And a crowd has gathered, and we get Titus's narrator voice again saying, "Man, was I surprised." And here I was thinking summoners were all old geezers.
I love it.
You got a really short turnaround if you only enlist old people.
Yeah.
We have to
seriously.
apologize about our story from last night, Geezers and Freezers. It turns out that the nursing home was adequately heated. The footage that you saw was from a meatpacking plant. We've also been told to apologize for using the word geezer as it is considered offensive by some. Coming up next, the story of the cantankerous old geezer. That's a lot of Simpsons line to memorize right
Really
there.
good. I'm impressed.
Huh,
That's
anyway.
not what, Kent Brockman?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But the summoner's entourage walks down the steps. Titus is kind of behind them, which, like, I understand why he would not want to call attention to himself right now after acting like a fucking douche.
For literally no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you count getting the Rod of Wisdom.
That is a good reason. That fucking
It is a kick-ass rod.
This is like when I was waiting in the car for my mom to come out of the supermarket. Like, I really have to pee, so I run in after. Let's see, and she's already checking out. Like, as soon as I run in, I could have just waited.
And as you go down, if you talk to the monk at the temple, he actually says, "Putting your transgression aside for now, let us celebrate the birth of a summoner." So, like, even he's been kind of cool with you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, at least to the point where he's like, there's more important shit going on here than me kicking your ass for being a...
There's more important things than punitive action.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
He's just running around this ceremony. He thankfully has not, like, crashed or anything.
Yeah.
He's not, like, interrupting a wedding or anything. Cassandra! Wayne World 2.
Mrs. Bouvier!
Mrs. Bouvier!
But then if you talk to him again, he says, "Quickly, to the village square, share in our joy." And then if you try to go back up, he says, "Only sworn guardians may approach the Cloister of Trials."
You fucking asshole. Like, what? I was just in there. It's
There's nothing in there.
a little moot point now. Yeah,
I already looted your fucking treasure in
Yeah,
there,
I
dude.
know.
You get one.
Titus is really good at being white. Goes to other cultures and then steals all of their stuff.
From their sacred chambers and stuff.
Certainly you can make exceptions for me.
Yeah. But as soon as we walk outside, all the townspeople are gathered in the very center of Besaid.
Yeah,
And there's like a
and-
dirt circle there.
And an
A
interesting...
Durkle.
A dirkle, you might say.
There's also an interesting bit
A
of like...
sand circle, which would be another circle.
Oh, with an S.
Yeah.
Yeah, alliteration.
Really makes you think.
There's also a nice bit of like cinematography here where when you walk outside of the temple, you get a different angle than we've seen it before. Like
Oh,
it's
that's
not
true.
it's not really anything like
Oh, yeah, that changes the vantage point. Because before we were looking at it straight on towards the door. Now we're looking at kind of in profile.
yeah, exactly. Like we're off to the side and we see kind of like some trees and some like pillars and stuff as we like walk down this this like outdoor hallway, I guess. This
Yeah.
promenade.
And then I love it because Titus is walking down to meet the characters all standing in the center of town. And like, as he walks, Waka runs up and throws him in a headlock, but backwards. And then like drags him down the fucking steps
Yeah, like
toward
through
the
the
center.
crowd, it kind of like pushes some
Yeah, he
out
pushes
of the
people
way.
out of the
like-
way. And like, he has it so that like Titus is looking and having to kind of walk backward, and he's just dragging him in a headlock to
Yeah.
the middle of it.
Real Big Brother energy in the good sense of Big Brother, not in the 1984 sense.
Right. And he goes,
Wait till you see this.
and Titus is like, I can't see anything. And he kind of like throws him up onto his feet. It's like very hilarious. Like, I love the animation.
Yeah, it's really good.
But the townspeople are like standing around in a circle surrounding this summoner character, right? And the goth GF, because we don't know her name either yet, says, "Go ahead, Yuna," and
Let her rip.
let her rip. And the summoner says, "Okay."
She starts playing Beyblades right in front of them. They're like, "Holy shit!"
But she does like a little, like a, what would you call it? Like a traditional dance, I suppose?
Yeah,
Like,
it's almost like I feel almost like a martial art kind of
It's
dance.
It's
like
like when
kata
Neo. It's like when
almost.
Neo says, "Bring it." Like does the kung fu
yeah,
pose.
it's not just like a dance or anything. It seems it's like choreographed, but it seems more like
Like an airbender.
Katas?
yeah.
Is that right?
I've been watching too much
Okay.
like Last Airbender, so yes.
Yeah. But she does
Actually,
this
that's a
little-
lie. You can never watch too much Last Airbender.
But she does this move and kind of like emanates these like spheres from her that shoot off into the sky,
Yeah.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
which is not super important, but I'd like to point out that the animation of a summoner sending 4 spheres out into the sky to summon something is how the summons worked in FF7. If you remember, when you would summon something, little like, green spheres would go whoop and like go up, and it happens in all of them.
Oh.
It's always that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's like the coded Final Fantasy.
I was gonna say
animation for that.
this animation is very like reminiscent of other Final Fantasies. Like I feel like this is kind of a moment where you're like, okay, now I'm getting hit with like
Now we're in Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we're talking Final Fantasy.
Right.
Yeah, it's very like cinematic in the same way that a lot of the summons later on in like after 7 and how they
Yeah.
all got.
But out of the sky, she summons this fucking badass bird monster that looks sick as fuck.
It's so fucking cool.
It's like a Garuda fucking bird person.
It got like dragon wings.
Dragon
but
wings, tail, and legs.
It looks kind of like the giant bird in Wind Waker. That's like the main antagonist for a lot of it, where it's got like almost like a steel like helmet sort of thing on
Yeah,
its
it's
head,
got- or like a bony-
or just like
A
it's
skull.
like skull is like
a pointy skull looking thing.
yeah,
And then
really
it has
vibrant like red feathers.
on its like
Yeah.
shoulder and its, like pelvic area.
Yeah,
yeah.
Dorsal feathers? I don't know fucking know.
Valfor.
And it's got breasts.
It does.
It certainly
Indeed.
does.
And like
Namora.
an incredibly thin and long torso, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. But it looks fucking badass. Like that could be in Dark Souls, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Very
sure.
colorful, but yes.
Yeah, but very colorful though. Yeah, I love the design of Valfor. I love
Yeah.
it. Valefor?
Valfor. Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of smash those the second, third, and fourth letters together so nobody knows what I'm saying.
Vale
Valefore.
What's a veil for?
God damn it! I was gonna make that fucking joke too, and I completely forgot about it.
I don't know what a veil's for. Like, what's
Yeah.
a veil for? Like,
Yeah.
oh, covering your eyes, silly.
Yeah. We're getting into Gerudo town in Breath of the Wild. Silly.
But she summons this creature, and like it lands right in front of her, and Yuna's able to go out and like touch it and almost kind of like pet it, right?
Yeah.
It's like an
Kind of
animal.
nuzzle it.
Yeah,
it's,
right.
It's very cute.
It's like a puppy.
And like there is lore to Valfor, but I don't want to get into it because I feel like it would be a spoiler.
Sure.
So
Yeah, we'll find out more when we.
exactly, yeah. And then we hear more narration from Titus.
I had never seen anything like it in my life. Sure, it was a little scary, but still, I could feel a strange kind of gentleness coming from it.
And while he's saying that, you can see like Waka and Goth GF congratulating the summoner, being like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's great." And
And I want to call attention to this random extra who's standing like just to the right of Waka, who has so much midriff. Like his pant line ends right at his like pubic bone. It just goes so low.
what a legend! What
The
a
cleavage
legend!
goes all the way down. Anyway.
But then it flies off, and we fade to black,
Oh, and you get to name it.
Yeah, and this is where
and we
name
get
it.
to name it and find out that it's Valefor.
Yeah,
I named mine Pikachu.
I just kept mine the same because a lot of these summon spirits are going to be new to me, so I'm like, okay, I don't want to get into the habit of being like, this one's called.
I named it Jimbathy, which canonically it is female.
Oh, sick.
So this one at least has a gender.
And now we know this is called an Aeon because on the screen where you enter his name, it says, "The Faith has entrusted you with a new Aeon."
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And we heard about that from the monk too last episode. That
This is an Aeon.
Yep. This is what they are.
Hell yeah.
So then it fades to black, and then when it fades back up, we'll see you then.
Play Fade to Black for our.
Life it seems will fade away, drifting farther every day, getting lost within myself. Nothing matters, no one else. I have lost the will to live, simply nothing more to give. There is nothing more for
So Titus says, I remember.
He says, I remember.
Oh, that is what it says.
I remember, don't worry, worry. It was the the last time they ever met.
Anyway, yes. So we're back.
So yeah, Titus narrator voice.
Screen's black. Titus's narrator voice is the word I was looking for, which
Yep.
is me just doing the Titus thing of repeating the exact thing you just said. He says,
I remember that night we talked for the first time. I didn't know it then, but after that night, everything changed.
it's very dramatic and very
Yeah.
very like Stand By Me kind of like, oh, didn't see much of the guys after that. It's like, I get it.
Yeah, so the screen comes up and we're all kind of and by we I mean like Titus, Waka, and the Oryx are all standing around like a big bonfire in the middle of not really a bonfire. It's
Sure.
it's a bonfire.
A campfire.
Yeah,
Or like book burning ceremony.
that's it. That's the one. And he's introducing he's introducing Titus to the team, and I guess
Didn't he already do that?
I was thinking about that. I was like,
The guys at the beach?
kind of,
I
but
think
not
it's more.
really.
I think it's more direct of being like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
hey, like this is.
Oh, right. He
Titus.
met them, and then he decided, he was like, hey, you want to be on the team?
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
they
all
don't
right.
even know about that yet, right?
Yeah.
And I love what Waka says. He's like, this guy wanted in on the tournament so bad that I let him on the team.
I love it,
Like
yeah.
Titus was the one who asked Waka about it.
Hell yeah.
He says his memory is a little fuzzy, so don't mind him if he says anything odd. Come on, say hi. And Titus just says,
Hi guys.
and then he goes into his fucking crazy rally shit where he's like, so what's our goal? And the Orcs are like, to do our best. That's so good. And I like that Waka's like internalized it now. He's like, no, we have a new goal. Our new goal is victory.
Fuck yeah.
To win every match, defeat every opposing team, to bring the Crystal Cup back to our island. That's all we have to do to win. Easy, yeah? And like, they start murmuring victory to each other.
Victory.
Yeah.
Peas and carrots. Peas and carrots.
And then, yeah.
It's like the monorail part of The Simpsons. Monorail.
But then they all start chanting
I
it.
hear
Yeah.
the goers are awfully loud. They'll go down softly like a cloud.
Cloud.
And
Victory!
So
Waka,
everyone's so as this is happening, everyone's saying victory, and they're all getting like riled up and everything. And Titus is kind of just looking around, and his like Yuna catches his eye, and we get like a cinematic.
Yeah, she's
view.
having a little sip from a tea.
Yeah.
Like
looks
Kermit.
real-
talking to some
Like that Kermit meme.
talking to some older people.
Yeah.
And he starts fucking staring like a fucking simp.
Simping.
I noticed during this cutscene last night that maybe part of the reason that they're not very good is that I realized that their pants are organized like parachutes, so they probably would actually slow down their swimming. They are, like
all the
they're,
water would catch inside of their pants, and then
they're like parachutes, like
They're-
like
yeah.
a spaceship on re-entry. It's like,
Therefore, when they get better uniforms that are more aerodynamic, it'll be like Goku taking off his weighted clothing.
anyway, that shit
I
would
think
slow them
you're
down.
thinking of Lee from Naruto.
Sure.
But yeah, so he keeps fucking staring over at Yuna like a fucking creep.
She looks back at him.
She catches, yeah, she sees that he's looking at her and kind of smiles and waves. She's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah,
You know?
she's like, "Hey, guy,
Her high pod models.
hey, guy that
Hey,
shit
guy.
on my culture."
Yeah, right.
Hello.
But then you gain control of Titus, and there's really nothing you can do but except for walk over to her. Right? There's really nothing else to interact.
You can
with.
also talk with the Aurochs more if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just more, excited about blitzball dialogue. I feel like.
Yeah, but I like that. Like when you try to approach the summoner, the old man says, "You heathen," and then
Hell yeah,
you
yeah.
heathen, and the old lady says, "Stay away from the summoner," and then the little kid standing next to her says, "You're a bad man."
He's saying what we're all thinking.
I've been canceled.
Oh, dear
let's
listener.
just sit there and simmer on that one for a
Oh,
second.
dear listener.
But she stands up and is gonna come talk to us, and they're like, "Lady Yuna, be careful."
Mm-hmm.
And like, I like Yuna. I like Yuna as a character,
She seems very great.
but like,
I don't agree with this.
I don't agree with this line. She goes,
But it was really my fault to begin with.
"These people don't even know each other, and they're already in an abusive relationship."
Oh my god, yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. But she walks up to Titus and says, "I'm Yuna. Thank you so much for your help earlier." And he's at least like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that wasn't I not supposed to, guess I overreacted. And like, again, she's just like, no, my fault. I was overconfident. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not like
Titus did nothing. Yuna did everything.
Yeah, and then
she's still apologizing.
She's apologizing for it.
and it's weird too because like he literally did nothing. If he waited 5 more minutes,
It would have been fine.
even if she was like overconfident or whatever, that doesn't dismiss that he had literally no right to be in there.
Right?
It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, like,
But he
It's
at
my
least...
big day, and you're just fucking trampling through
Yeah.
it.
But he
he's
at
like,
least
yeah, I
says-
didn't break into your fucking locker room when you were about to play blitzball or something. When you're in the middle of the game, you fucking asshole.
Except you're breaking in like right when after the game, you know.
Yeah.
I sat in the East Block front row and waited.
I did not get the victory symbol.
But he says, I saw that Aeon thing. That's amazing.
Which
Thing.
I'm like, come on, dude, like be a little more
That doodad.
like that Aeon thing, like this is like obviously a very important cultural thing. It's a very religious, like
Yeah.
people really care about the. It's
like- it's
oh
like-
yeah, I saw that dude on the cross thing that you're all super wild about.
I feel like it's like when a parent, like you're playing a PlayStation, your parent's like, oh, you're enjoying your Nintendo? And you're like, okay, you clearly don't. Like, so she's like, oh yeah, that Aeon thing that you did. That's mighty cute. But she says like, oh really? Do you think that I can become the High Summoner? And like we don't know anything about really High Summoners or anything like that, right?
yeah, we've like heard it mentioned, but that's
Yeah.
it.
But we know that she's not one. Yeah,
And she, for some reason, wants his opinion.
I know, and it's like I need your input on this.
Yeah,
Unbiased input actually would not be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Everyone wants me to be one guy who has no input.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
Anyway.
that kid runs up and says, "Lady Yuna, come play with me some more." And she says, "Well, tomorrow then."
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that so Titus, we know that Titus and the Aurochs are going to be going to Luca to do the Blitzball tournament.
big game.
The big game. And we heard about the pilgrimage that summoners go on, and it turns out that Yuna's pilgrimage and your Blitzball tournament you're going the same way.
Yeah, they coincide.
Yeah, so you're going to get on the same boat and head out together tomorrow morning.
Same prayer, same victory poses.
Yeah.
It's all very intertwined.
Yep, it's all coming together.
It's like when your band is going on tour and like another band that's not going to be fully on tour with you maybe is
A
like
Christian band.
oh hey we're gonna be playing that in that area too, like we'll just like hitch a ride with you.
Yeah, but
The missionaries are tagging along with the band.
I do like the last thing that she says before she turns around though, and she kind of just slowly says like, "Oh yeah, on the way, you can tell me more about Xanarkand."
Yeah.
or whatever. So she's heard about that stuff and is like at least interested in hearing him out.
Yeah.
because like it could be the ravings of a fucking man and who's been
got the toxins.
right, or there could be something else to it. But either way, she's like, I feel like that's her like place on the island. It seems is to be kind of like the peacekeeper in
Yeah.
a way, like you know what I mean. Like gives people the benefit of the doubt, like and we'll learn more about her personality as we go. But already from this first interaction, we can kind of tell who she is as an individual.
Yeah, and we can also kind of just use what we know of Final Fantasy games and Final Fantasy roles to be like, oh, okay, she's the white mage who will
Right.
be like the healing kind of thing. So it's like
Right.
not a stretch to be like, oh, well, she's gonna try and figure out more about all of his rantings about Xanarkand.
Right.
And also, like, if we look a little further than that too, like we've heard from Riku that people think that Xanarkand is a holy place.
Right.
And she's a pretty holy figure from what we can gather
Right.
from
yeah.
all of this.
She's
so-
like the most highly respected member of this community. It seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Yuna's cool. And then I like that when
She's
she
got
walks
cool
away.
boots.
Say what?
I
She
think
does have really cool boots.
She's got cool boots. Not
She
quite,
does have cool boots.
not quite Aerith like Doc Martens, but they're kind of these like stylish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
heels.
a fancy boot.
Heel
Fancy
boot.
and functional.
Anyway.
That's what I aspire to be, fancy and functional. And I like that as she walks away, Waka walks up to Titus and is like,
She's cute, yeah?
He gives him a little nudge on the arm with
Yeah.
his elbow.
and you get an option. You can pick from one of two things after he says that.
And here's where you decide if you're going to be a complete monster or if you're going to say what you probably should say.
I didn't take a picture of what the answers are. Sorry.
It is
both.
yeah or she's not my type.
And what did you all say?
I said yeah.
What did you say?
She's not my type.
Oh, you monster!
I said she's not my type.
You fucking monsters! Maybe
Well, I should
well,
say I did both because I played through this area twice.
Maybe I'm the monster.
I was like,
I'm outnumbered
I
here.
got.
well, I was like, you know
did-
what would get me in more trouble? Like with this fucking culture.
you know what would
If-
make me hate Titus even more? You were the slum drunk.
It's like you barged in as where like they're electing their new pope and like, hey, is the pope single?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that seems like the shittiest thing I could do. So how about I just like back off? But like, yeah, no, it's
like,
good.
no. Let's
So what does Waka say if you say yeah?
He says, don't get no ideas. And then Titus just proves that he's being an asshole, where he says, no promises there, big guy.
Oh, yeah. Then he say like, but what if she comes on to me or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Good lord. But yeah, so I said,
And then, yeah, Waka's just like, not gonna happen.
yeah, he says not gonna happen. And then if you say she's not my type, the Waka just goes, then we're cool.
Yo, hell yeah, dude.
I love it. Oh, and then
Waka's like kind of baited him though. He's like, she's cute, yeah.
Yeah, he's
know,
trying to
I
keep
know.
him in line.
well, I
you
think
know?
like I think he's trying to like just get it the fuck out there. He's like, look, I need to deal with this. I need to cut this off right now.
Yeah.
And then like even if you say that and he says that, he still goes, but what if she comes on to me? And I was like, Titus, I told you what to think because you're a video game
Titus,
character.
we're trying to make you be normal for once.
And he says, if you get tired, let me know. I had a bed made for you. And then if you try to talk to Yuna again, the fucking old people are like, stay away from the summoner. It's so good. Also, that was perfect. You can put in the voice or not. No one will ever know.
No one will ever know.
Keep your hands off my wife.
Don't email my wife. Don't email the summoner.
When you talk to Waka, a lot of times his lines, like when you're talking, we talked about this before.
A lot of his lines ends in ya or brother.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
go.
Or yonder.
you'll hear his voice lines, like they'll be voice acting. So a lot of times in RPGs, you'll talk to someone until they repeat the same line, and it's no different here. But you actually hear him saying the same thing over and over again. And this kind of does this thing where if I'm playing around my girlfriend, I will just keep doing it until she notices it. Like I would do this a lot in Skyrim with the NPCs because they would sometimes change up their dialogue a little bit and just wait until she notices, and then we just repeat.
What
it back
some
to-
people call trash, others call treasure.
Yeah, so, like, need something.
I'd sell my own sister.
So I was doing that with some of Waka's dialogue for a little while, and she's like, "Stop!" And like we were laughing about it. And then later, I was trying to see if there was anything else I can do in this part because Waka's like, "Hey, like I have a bed made for you. Do you want to?"
Once again, sleeping is how we progress the story,
Yeah.
which happens every fucking episode.
And you get the option. So I'm like, okay, there might be more to do here, and you can't really walk anywhere. You can still talk to the Aurochs a little
yeah,
bit.
we're still stuck in like kind of the center of town. We can't
Yeah,
go back to the.
but there's really
temple.
nothing to do.
We can
like,
talk to the team a little more.
Yeah, but so I kept trying to see if there was any way to go like further, and I kept accidentally triggering the stay away from the summoner. And my girlfriend thought I was fucking with her again. I was like, no, I'm actually like for real this time. I'm trying something.
But yeah, so once we go to bed, Titus has another dream in the Instagram filter.
There is another kind of gratuitous shot, like we were talking about before, where we're in the lodge for the Crusaders. Like
Oh, okay.
The inn that
you
we
mean
were in.
before? Yeah, before we fall asleep.
Before we actually fall asleep, and the camera is like panning over, and there's someone else laying in bed. And I think it's like a female character.
Yeah.
And like the camera kind of shows her butt as it's like panning by as she like rolls over and stuff. I was like, that really was not necessary.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
not usually necessary. This is like especially not
Yeah.
necessary.
I feel like I've
Gamora!
So Titus has this dream, and you want to talk about simping? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's just on a dock, sitting in the corner of this dock.
Yeah.
I kept going south just to see if I can like
See
go
if
back to
you
the
could.
edge,
Yeah.
and it goes back to white and just resets you.
Okay.
I was like, is there a speedrun strat where you just do this like 155 times or something, and then it activates? It sends you
activates
to
the
the
end
left.
credits.
Yeah.
But Yuna's on the port or on the docks. But yeah, Yuna's there in his dream, and she's like,
Everyone will find us if it doesn't come soon.
You really sure this is okay?
Would you take me to Xanarkand?
And then the camera cuts.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
shows like where we came from, and we hear Riku, and she says, "Hey," and Titus is doing that goofy running in place
running in place
animation
animation. Yeah.
But he's like facing away from like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just
Yeah, I
doing some Ring Fit adventure.
I wish that's impossible. To
Yeah,
find.
and he's just like going like,
You said you'd go with me.
and then like Yuna like chastises him like in his own dream, like, oh, you told this girl you would go to Xanarkand with her?
I also really like what Riku says to him. She says, "I thought Waka told you not to get any ideas."
I know.
And then Yuna's like, "Wait, he did?"
Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh man, what a nightmare.
Dude, he like conscious simping, unconscious simping.
This is some real like sitcom, like 90s sitcom energy of being like, oh no, I told like the boys that I would
Go
go.
to the bathroom, change, and like doing 2 dates at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's in trouble, and then he has
Ruh-roh.
like who of us have not had a horny dream where our dad appears and then makes fun of us?
Whomst amongst us?
Oh yeah, so from off screen you hear like,
Hey, stop dreaming!
Yeah, I know. And like Jekt is standing there, and he's just like, "You with a woman?" Like, who amongst us?
you can't even catch a ball.
Yeah. Really just hammering home Titus getting owned.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, then it cuts back and Titus is like now his child form.
Yeah, he's a child now.
Yeah.
Which looks a lot like Sora. Looks a little bit like Sora in this
Yeah,
design.
definitely. And then Jekt goes on and he says, "Gonna cry again?
Piss
Cry,
your pants,
cry,
maybe?
Maybe shit and come.
Sorry.
cry, cry. That's the only thing you're good for." And then
Yuna and Rico are like on either side of him now.
But-
on
and
other
like-
side of Jekt.
Jekt, yeah.
little kid Titus says, "I hate you."
Also, who hasn't had a dream where you're a horny dream for 2 girls, and then your dad comes and makes fun of you, and then steals the fucking girls away from you? Classic male dream.
Yeah, of course. Classic Nomura
For our
dream.
listener, this is what it's like to be a cis straight male. It's terrible.
Chivalry's dead, I say.
But Jekt kind of puts his hand to his ear and he says, "Huh? What did you say?" And then Yuna says, "You have to speak loudly." And Titus like screams it
screams,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, he says, "I hate you." And Jekt is like,
Riku
"Eh."
says that's the spirit.
Yeah, so they're like rallying behind him, which is pretty good.
Jekt does seem kind of, it's really awkward. It sounds like, he says in a way that sounds like he didn't hear him, but I think it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like, huh? Like
Yeah.
he like doesn't know what to say.
And then
Yeah.
and then Yuna repeats and she's like, "You can do it." Like
Yeah,
and she's
right.
encouraging him.
And then
It's
Titus-
really clunky, but I guess it's a dream, so you kind of it's
Yeah.
supposed to be kind of clunky and weird.
And then like Titus wakes up, like he wakes himself up out of his dream nightmare by screaming, and he just like screams, "I hate you!" And it's almost like a sneeze. He like whips himself up. "I hate you!" Gesundheit. But he wakes up in the middle of the night, and he overhears a conversation from outside the tent.
Yeah.
And so this is the goth GF talking to Waka.
Yeah.
Right? And we start right in the middle of a conversation. Like it's the middle of like a sentence.
All right, this character says he's dead, okay, dead, which is like another kind of cool like transition from the dream, like last time we had a dream. There's
Yeah.
kind of another carryover thought.
The captions actually say this character's name here too. So this goth GF is Lulu.
Yeah.
And so we kind of learn her name through the captions at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Through the grapevine.
Oh wait, would that have shown up during the cutscene when we?
It did not.
No, I think
so-
this is the first. I think this is the first instance of us learning
interesting.
her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
And
right.
she says he does look a lot like Chapu. I was surprised too the first time I saw him. But no matter what he looks like, he isn't Chapu. You shouldn't have brought him here in the first place.
Yeah. And as it's happening, like this is in an FMV, and Titus is like pulling the curtain to the tent aside to kind of like eavesdrop.
Tent flap.
Excuse me. Yeah, to eavesdrop on them. And we kind of get a better look at like Lulu at this point. So when we were talking about describing this character,
Yeah.
It's a pan up, slow pan from the ground, which is just all belts.
all belts.
It is
it's
a
Captain
skirt.
Crunch, oops, all belts.
It is a skirt that is completely made up of nothing but belts.
It looks like she's like, in broad strokes, it looks like she is wearing kind of like a magician's trench coat almost.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the
Right.
belts fill it out, so it looks more like a big dress.
Yeah.
The front of
Yeah.
it. And she has like one thigh showing through like a little like belt window. But
Yeah,
And
right.
a bit of like a stocking showing,
Yeah.
a little bit of
Yeah.
leg.
Right. And of
then-
course all that shelfie boob that we saw in the
Shelfie
first.
boob.
It's just very, you could put a tray on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of has like the top, I suppose, of her her outfit is like fuzzy, almost like Squall's like jacket.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah.
And it
Kind of
goes-
Game of Thronesy, feathery.
Yeah, very Jon
Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah.
Raven-y looking. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
She has
She's
dope hair as
she's
well.
got really dope hair.
It's like
3 necklaces.
It's like impossibly dope hair though, because
They really like dangly things in this game. They really like, let's put lots of necklaces and beads
well,
and shit. And
I was gonna
everything.
say in the way that like she has it.
she's got some like emo hair in the front.
It's like straight, like scene hair in the front, but what's pinned up behind her is like dreadlocks. And I was like,
I don't know if it's dreadlocks or if
do you
it's
think it's braids?
I think it's like
Okay,
tight
I wasn't
braids.
sure. I was like, does she only wash just the outside of her hair? But she just like makes sure that this bit doesn't get washed.
No, I took that as like very tight braids.
Yeah, I think
and she's got like really long hair.
Yeah. But she does have like really cool hair ornamentation and like you're saying, like some dope fucking necklaces too.
Yeah.
So real energy coming off.
Red eyes.
Like
really going for the Carl demographic here.
yeah, red eyes. Yeah. But she's like very like the authority, I feel like, out of like the members of the party that we're gonna meet. Like like she's like on top of all that. Like everybody's gonna do what she says.
Yep.
And she's out. I mean, that's the thing. She's out here fucking yelling at Waka and being like, "Look, this guy's dead." And like we really don't know exactly what they're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Only
Chapu.
Chapu.
Yeah, and
all I want to be is El Chapu.
all I want to be is El Chapu. But she said, like you said, she says, "Oh, he looks like Chapu, but you know he isn't. You shouldn't have brought him here." And Waka says, "Yeah, but he needed our help." So we can infer that we're talking about Titus.
Yeah,
that they are.
Yeah.
And she's just like
Titus looks like Chapu apparently.
And Titus looks like Chapu. And she's just like, "Excuses again?" Like just fucking beating him down. And like again, thus far, Waka's been like the big brother dad figure, and so to see him getting like fucking his ass chewed out, it's like,
don't tell mom.
It's sick. I love it. Yeah. Don't tell mom I got you McDonald's.
Yeah, and he's like trying to like interject, and then she says, "That's it, no more, enough, Waka," and then she just walks away.
Waka's away. So that's the end of that little F&B.
He kind of turns and starts walking back towards the tent, but his head is kind of hanging low and stuff. So Titus just like...
Once again, he looks very pale in this FMV.
Yeah, and Titus just like closes the tent.
Yeah.
He slams it.
You can't slam a tent.
Waka walks into the Crusader Lounge, and Titus lets it go that he was eavesdropping by just going,
"Scary.
Spooky."
It's spooky.
And he asks, he says, "Who's Chapu?" And Waka says,
"My little brother, Chapu. He looked like you."
And Titus says, "Oh, he's dead." And Waka kind of sits down next to Titus. They sit on like two of the beds and like they have a rap together. You know what I mean?
They're like bunk.
They're having a nice little palaver.
Yeah. He says, "He was with the Crusaders when they fought Sin last year. He didn't make it. I heard on the first day of the tournament." All right, take the pin out of last episode where I said, remember where Titus makes fun of Waka for being like...
But something else was on my mind. I couldn't focus.
Nice excuse.
Ha ha ha, like his brother died on that day.
Yeah.
Titus!
God damn it, Titus.
So, yeah. And at least Titus now is like, oh, okay. Like, oh, that's why.
And he's like, yeah, he realizes.
Yeah, right.
And then Waka says, "I became a guardian to fight Sin." And Titus is like, "Oh, for revenge?" And he was like, "Yeah, that was the idea. I'm more worried about a stupid game now than avenging my brother." And he said, "Well, after the next tournament, I'll be a guardian full time. I know it kind of looks like I'm using you, but I'm not."
Yeah. And I like the delivery of that, too.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not. You know, like he's like thinking about something very painful right now. So he's like...
Yeah.
Really like the delivery of all these lines is very like emotionally vulnerable.
It's also nice when we're thinking back to last episode of when Waka was talking about how he was like, "Oh yeah, like it used to be all I would do is like play the game and everything, but then I got a job." And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's a relatable thing. Like everyone has to like put their hobbies or whatever on the side when they start working.
Side
a
hustle.
job." Yeah, exactly. And so, and he's like, "Oh, but all I can think about is the game," and that kind of puts that way more into perspective now, where he's like, "Yeah, like I got a job of being like a guardian." But like I still can't focus on it because of the game.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Even though I'm trying to avenge my brother.
I know, and like while he was at the game, he couldn't focus on the game because of the things that happened to his brother. So like, Waka's just in the wrong time. You know, he's like in the wrong place at the wrong time at all times.
Don't worry. I mean, I owe you a lot. You really helped me out, you know? What I mean is, thanks, Waka.
Yeah, and he stands up to shake his hand, and like for a second, Waka's going for the handshake. He's like, "Oh yeah," and then he gets super embarrassed by it, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't do this." He goes, "Stop it, you're embarrassing me."
Yeah, and then we just wake up the next day, and we have like control over Titus again.
Has Titus had lunch yet?
I am assuming that during the bonfire he ate. That's what I like. My headcanon is that he had food during that.
They killed and roasted up that good tasty Eon.
We can just summon food whenever we want. But yeah, so
the Uber Eats of this world.
Yeah. So the next morning, Titus walks outside. Waka and Lulu are already there, and Waka straight up gives him Chapu's sword.
It's the same shape as the red sword that we had.
It is, but it's made of that Trapper Keeper jelly
Hell
that we
yeah.
were
It's like,
describing.
it looks like a snow globe. It's like iridescent,
I love it.
glittery.
It's very cool.
It has
looking.
like water bubbles in it. And
Why is it the same shape as Jek's sword?
I think that's just like this type of sword. in
Which
this
also,
realm.
speaking last episode, when they talk about the crimson swords, I thought they were talking about the swords that
Oh,
Titus
the
had.
Crimson Blades, yeah.
Crimson
Yeah.
blades or whatever, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, it's kind of looks like a fish hook. So I feel like
Yeah.
all of the places that we've been have been somewhat like aquatic. I almost said erotic, which is also true. But I figure it's kind of like a harpoon sword sort of thing.
It's a glowy. It's the one from the first cutscene we saw, the very beginning.
Yeah.
Glowy, sparkly, glittery.
So he
Very
gives
cool.
Titus that sword. Lulu mentions that was Chapu's sword, and Waka just offhandedly is like, "Yeah, well, he never got to use it,"
Yeah.
which is like
Very sad.
it's very sad. But I mean, I kind of get it. Though,
It's like,
you know?
yeah, when there's such a huge trauma in your life that like the only way to cope with it years later is just to like make uncomfortable jokes about it.
yeah, right.
Coping mechanism, yeah.
But it kind of makes sense too. Like we said multiple times on the last episode that Waka had a very big brother energy, and it kind of makes sense
Yeah,
now.
it makes
He's-
even more sense, especially since Titus looks like
his younger brother,
yeah.
so he's kind of treating him like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's like any video game where you have to like take care of a little girl and you end up becoming your
Oh, the dad figure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
like
this is older
Logan,
brother. figure.
Logan or Last of Us or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, man.
Where you can tell that the developers just kind of felt bad that their careers engulfed their life and they didn't really have a relationship with their children. They're like, yeah, this Joel guy is gonna have a new daughter.
But then they start talking about Yuna a little bit because they're waiting for her to come out of the temple so we can get going, right? And they described it like, oh yeah, Yuna came to Besaid 10 years ago when the calm started. So she hasn't been living on Besaid, so she's not from Besaid.
Right.
And Titus asks like, oh, what's the calm? And we kind of learned that that's when the High Summoner goes to fight and
It's the town from FF7.
quote unquote defeats Sin. So like there are periods of calm apparently.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't like really learn a lot about that, but when it happened, that's when Yuna came to Besaid.
Yeah.
And through the years, she had shown a lot of talent. And so they were like, oh, maybe she can become a summoner. And so you're kind of Titus is walking in at the end of that, right?
Yeah.
Like she's finally done it. She's spent years training. She's become a summoner. And they say that she's been like a little sister to Lulu and Waka.
Yeah.
And then we see Yuna coming out of the temple too with like a roller suitcase.
Yeah, it's like a suitcase that you would like bring to the airport and stuff,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
on the rotating carousel.
Yeah,
thing.
right. Yeah. And Lulu's like, yeah, you're not going to need all that stuff. And she's like, oh, no, it's not for me. It's for the temples. I'm bringing gifts for them.
I'm bringing merch.
Yeah, bringing merch. I went and bought a snow globe and a t-shirt from every temple that I've been to, bringing it back to my homies.
I got some Bone Villages for Lovers shirts in here.
And like Waka just goes, this isn't a vacation. And like, damn, Waka, man. But she's like, oh yeah, you're right. And just leaves the suitcase sitting there. Like,
I'm also
doesn't put it
surprised
up.
that like no one else is carrying it for her.
Yeah, she'd be carrying it herself the whole time.
Yeah, no chivalry here from Titus to be like, well, I've already like shit on the customs before. I'm gonna just go and carry this briefcase for her.
Right. But and that's it. We say goodbye to Besaid Village.
Yeah. Okay, we're off.
Unless
off we go.
unless we don't say goodbye to Besaid Village.
Yeah.
And
Why would we want to do that?
and we immediately turn right back around on the next screen and go back into the village and then talk to the item store owner
Yeah.
who mentions that their dog has run off. And then we go into the textile makers, weavers, whatever.
Yeah.
It's called
Then-
the Weaver's Hut. I mean, I don't know.
Is it? Okay, anyway. And the dog's there, and if we talk to the dog, the game says there's something slobbery and mangled in its mouth, and we get a slobbery, mangled item.
Yeah.
And it turns out that that is going to give us an extra overdrive for Velfor.
Yeah.
The only Aeon that can have two.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, you can just immediately get it before you've even used the first one.
Or just immediately miss it because it requires backtracking.
yeah, I know. Immediately in the game, too.
Yeah.
Very odd.
It's weird too because it's not really like projected particularly well to you. Like you go to the item store and the merchant there is like, oh, I'm like the younger sister of the person who owns this store, and like I saw something weird in my dog's mouth.
Yeah.
and then you
That's
go.
fine.
Yeah, like
If I saw something weird in my dog's mouth, I'm like, I would not be like, yeah, it's fine.
yeah,
Drop it. Give it.
yeah. I want to know more about this. It's like a what are those like toys called that you put like the peanut butter?
Oh
in?
yeah.
Kong.
yeah, the Kong.
But now we can leave Besaid. There's really nothing else to do here. And we
Running up that hill to make a deal with.
We're literally running up a hill now. This is the same
With
one
the
we
Yevon.
Yeah. This is the same one that we came down and met Lulu and Gatsa the first time.
Yeah.
And we can get random battles now, boys.
Fuck
Except,
yeah.
are they random right now?
Their placements are random in that they happen after a prescribed amount of distance traveled.
Okay.
But so whether that's random or not, I don't know what to tell you.
All right. I could just run in a circle maybe and then see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to see a familiar Final Fantasy enemy.
The dingo.
Wait, what is it called?
The famous Final
It is
Fantasy
called a dingo.
dingo.
Yeah. So the next several battles are tutorial battles, and I love them because we finally get into the like meat and taties of of how fighting in FF10 works.
Hell
right.
yeah.
So the first enemy in this first battle is a dingo.
It's a dog.
These are small quadrupedal animals, and as we go through the game, there's a shape and like a type of enemy that kind of fits this theme, which is like medium to small size, quadrupedal, fast. Like the click that we fought
Yeah.
with Riku is one of these type enemies. These enemies are real fast and can evade very easily. And Waka says straight up, he's like, hey, why don't you try that sword out that I gave you? And you can just attack it and one-shot it, right? No big deal.
He even says no problem.
Yeah, right. And and Waka says, might make a good guardian one day. And the thing is that Titus is especially suited to fighting these enemies.
Yeah.
So they'll dodge a lot of other people's attacks, and they move really quickly. So because Titus has the turns to actually keep up with them, and he has the speed to deal with them, he's kind of like your quadrupedal land quick animal fighter.
Yeah.
So when you see them pop up, switch in Titus, do a normal attack.
It's like Pokemon logic, except not just like with elemental stuff,
Right.
which we'll also be getting
Yes.
into. But it's more so like every person in your party has a specific role.
Right. So the second battle we get into is with a bird type enemy,
Condor.
a condor.
Yeah.
And I like that Waka says, a flyer, my kind of customer.
Yeah. Go Flyers!
Go Flyers!
Gritty! Go Flyers, go Birds.
So the flying type enemies, incredible amounts of evasion. Like Titus can pretty much not hit them. It's like a 1 in like 10 chance for Titus to hit a flying enemy.
He's too short.
Too short. But Waka can hit them 10 out of 10 times. Like Waka is your flying enemy guy. So
He's kind of like the Barrett,
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
long distance.
except he's nicer.
Yeah.
Nice kind Barrett for now. So yeah, that's how we take those down. The water flan pops up. Titus says, yeah, watch this. And then you as Titus get to select attack and then select the flan. And Titus hits it and does like nothing.
Thwomp. It's like 30 damage.
It's like
Yeah, I
30
did like-
damage.
yeah.
It's pathetic. And he's like, what? Like, he's like really disappointed by it. And Walk explains that like only magic can beat that thing. And I'd love.
He says, told ya, only magic can beat that thing, which is funny because he really didn't. He just, like, when the battle started, he said, that looks like trouble.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so maybe that's what I meant by it.
So he
Yeah.
means that by it, but, like, again,
Yeah.
he didn't explicitly say anything. He's just like, yeah, dude, told you so. It's like, no, you said that one of them is mean. Like, what?
I also want to make a note of this is our first time seeing Waka on land battle, and he has a really he has a really funny idle animation where he's
I
constantly,
love his animation.
He's kind of hunched over, holding his ball in his right hand. And he's constantly wiping his nose with his left hand.
Yeah.
I think he's like trying to brush away sweat and like.
Oh,
kinda
yeah, I
get
think he's
ready.
brushing away sweat.
But he just does it like every like second. He's just like, dude,
What's gonna be-
fucking
Someone get this man some Gatorade.
Trust me, what is going to be fucking magical is when we get the haste spell and it doubles the animation speed of the idling speed.
Nice.
It gets real
Hell yeah.
artful at that point. And like some characters, like Auron, doesn't move a lot when he's standing there or whatever. So when you
Oh, we get to see him again.
Spoiler.
maybe, but when you cast haste on him way later, he just like vibrates like, really fast because he's not really moving a lot. So he's just like
Vibe check.
vibe check.
I need to make these like into GIFs so that they can be better Twitch TV emotes for our channel.
Do you guys have a picture of the water flan?
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Full
water
spaghetti.
The water flan is like this like slime monster with a solid inside and like translucent skin or whatever.
It's like Chaos from Sonic Adventure 1.
Dude,
Yeah.
it is SpaghettiOs.
I was gonna
It is
say
SpaghettiOs.
It looks like when you just like take a can of SpaghettiOs and like dump it out, and it's still in the can shape.
Yeah, it looks exactly like that. Like
Probably tastes so good.
I cannot describe.
That is what Titus was eating on the boat.
Yo, it kind of looks like what Titus is eating.
So is this
Yeah.
the flan's guts or what he's digesting? It could be food that he's just digesting.
Specifically
True.
SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, it could be he had the
It's like
same
a
lunch as
jellyfish.
Titus. Yeah.
It's got a cute smile. I like it. It's got a
I do.
little-
very
It
cute.
has like a cute little monster.
This
like,
is
"Woohoo,"
and this is
smile.
like this is the same exact design. I'm pretty sure without the spaghetti portions of it, as in like Final Fantasy VIII, which one of the first cards that you get in Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
yeah.
VIII is one of these. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty recognizable thing if you're familiar with older
Fantasy
Final
flan. Hi, fantasy flan.
But he does tell us that to beat these enemies, you have to use magic against them and a type of magic that they don't like.
Yeah.
If you can't beat them down, you got to use a magic of an element they don't like.
And I
Titus is
love-
like, magic? Element?
I love the next line.
Me too.
The delivery is so good. He goes, "Let's have our black mage show you what I mean," and it's like, ooh, it's so tutorial.
It's
so
like, this is such
fucking
an
good.
infomercial.
And then he
It
says,
is.
he
It's very
says,
PBS, is what it kind of reminded me of.
This is
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Wendy's orientation video.
and he says, Lou, you're up.
I love. He calls
then Lulu runs
Lou.
in.
I know.
I just love too how like it's a Final Fantasy game, so obviously there's gonna be characters that are like Black Mage or Monk or whatever. But like just the delivery of it, like in canon, just like
Black mage.
yeah, just being like, oh yeah, that's our Black Mage. Like I fucking love that.
I know. I like that too.
Like that.
like
I
it
mean,
a
they
lot.
had that in Final Fantasy IX as well, but like it's just so good to see like
It's
Yeah.
in world, that's what they're called. They're
yeah,
not just like.
to not see like the little sprites of the Black Mage and everything, and having it be like a different, and then like, oh no, this is our Black Mage. It's like, yo, fuck.
I know.
yeah.
I know. It rules.
Oh, yeah,
and I
so-
like as soon as she walks in, she's just like, clueless, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good thing I'm here.
She's holding a Moogle doll.
She's holding a Moogle doll.
It's incredibly cute.
So it looks like a little sack boy from Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
Got little X's for eyes.
So her physical attack is that she has a doll and sets it down on the ground, and then it runs toward the enemy and does like a backflip and punches them.
Oh, that's so
It's
cute.
like
I
a
didn't even see
little
that.
child's play type of thing.
Yeah, but it does like nothing.
Yeah.
Like
It's
she's
kinda
a mage.
useless.
Yeah, she has no attack.
It's an equipped item, so you can swap it out later, I think, right?
Yes, and she has like cactuars and Moombas and other weapons.
ooh,
yeah.
Moombas.
Yeah.
It's just like Carl's house. It's full of plushies and,
Hell yeah. I
and
actually
Goth GFs.
my Goth GF actually just got me a Final Fantasy VII remake Moogle plush.
Oh, really?
So I really want to do like a himbo Lulu cosplay at some point.
That'd be great.
I need to get a lot more belts.
You're gonna need a lot of belts.
So she explains that there are 4 elements in this game. There's fire, water, lightning, and ice, right? Fire and ice are opposites,
Yeah.
and water and lightning are opposites.
So,
So,
does
not
that
quite
mean-
Pokemon rules.
So ice
Yeah.
so ice is weak to fire and fire is weak to ice. Is that
Yes.
what that
Yeah,
implies?
yeah.
Okay, so it goes both directions.
yes,
Yeah.
right.
Scissors beats scissors, rock beats rock, paper
Yeah.
beats paper.
Yeah, in a way.
We gotta
well,
go
paper
back-
beats watery paper. And
We got to go back to that episode that we did where we did rock paper scissors and use that logic and
And so,
Anyway.
like, if one of us chose lightning and one of us chooses fire, it's just like, oh, well, I guess no one wins. It just doesn't matter.
Anyway,
But yeah, so this is a water flan, so use thunder on it, and it does a fuckload of damage and just one hit KOs it.
I like the script that says Lulu Zorches flan into pretty lights. Zorches?
Zorches.
there is a nice thing. I accidentally chose Blizzard against the
Oh, really?
water flan instead.
Blizzball.
So and it's like they have that written into the script as well to be like, oh yeah, if like you like use the
Yeah.
wrong thing, we want to let you know that you used the wrong thing. And Lulu goes, that was a bad example.
Hey, that's amazing.
Lulu really scoring points for me as like
Oh,
favorite character so
Lulu's
far. I'm like,
so
yo,
good. She's the
fuck
best.
yeah.
And we kind of go into a little scene, and we see Yuna looking out over that cliffside, looking at Besaid. And Lulu kind of comes up to her and says, "Take your time." And Titus, fucking Titus, he goes, "Hey, let's just get going, man." Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Titus, this isn't about you.
When are we going to get to the fireworks factory?
And like, I like that Waka just kind of like, it's like, "No, we're going to wait."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, good Waka. Hell
Get him,
yeah.
Waka. Get him.
You know what? I feel like Titus being a shitlord makes me like every other character in this game so much more than I
Yeah.
would have, because they're always like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
Well, what I like about this is in past game, or the past game so far, by past game so far I mean 7. Yeah, we've had to kind of build up our party. But in this one, we kind of just like we join a party that we're totally unequipped for.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're the new guy.
yeah,
it's
very
a nice,
much so.
it's a nice little inversion of it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like they already have a squad. They all
Yeah.
know each other.
Yeah, and they're like well equipped for fighting too. Like,
And
like,
you're
we
like
don't have crazy magic or anything. We have cheer.
it's also really, which is fucking great.
It does rule.
But I also love too how when we were playing 7, it was like, oh yeah, the tutorial is always Cloud teaching other people how to be a badass. And in this, it's like, Titus, you're a fucking idiot. Watch how it's done.
Yeah. There's also that broken statue we described last time is here. And so Waka goes up to it and starts to pray, right? And he explains,
It's an ancient custom. People leaving the island pray here for a safe trip. Chapu didn't pray that day. Said he'd miss his boat.
So it's a little bit dark where you're like, oh, holy shit. Like, and
yeah.
But I think we saw this before, and I think we heard about that as well, like about it being a safe journey and praying here for it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of that. And
I forgot to talk to the statue when I was first walking by it earlier.
Right.
yeah. But we find out a little bit more about how
why it's important, especially to Waka.
Yeah, and then we get
But you feel bad now.
Yeah.
and then we get a prompt.
Yeah.
Because everyone else, if we look, Lulu is praying, Yuna gets down and is praying, and
Yuna's doing the fucking squat mini game from FFX.
and you get the options to, I think, pray or do nothing.
Or just watch.
Or just watch. Oh, okay.
No, not do nothing, yeah.
Don't believe me? Just watch. What did you guys do?
I just watched.
I prayed.
I just watched. Hey, you know what? This has been the most varied answers we've ever had on this fucking podcast.
The reason is because I watched Alex do his homework before I did mine. So I was like, okay, I know Alex at least prayed, so I'm going to do the opposite thing. And also it makes Titus even more of a shitheel. So.
Well, you know, I was like, I'm just going to.
I think the outcome's pretty much the same.
Yeah, nothing really comes of it.
Yeah, Waka says that should do it, as if like, it was like, I think that's enough praying for now.
Yeah.
Now, all right, here we go.
You can actually go back and pray, I think.
Oh, really?
If you don't do it, you can
Which
actually go.
I did do.
Time to take the veil off. Whoa.
What's a veil for?
Yeah.
There's also affection meters in this game, just like 7.
Okay.
Womp.
Oh,
I
womp
know.
womp.
And it, much like 7, affects who we
you get to
go
go
on
on a
our
date.
ride with later.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like very similar in that way.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Go
Yeah.
on the ride with Waka. You don't get to do the play with him.
Well, I feel like it's so the answers that we make throughout these kind of determine where our points are going to be allotted to. But a big part of it is anytime there's a point where we can talk to our party members, who we choose to talk to first is also going to
That makes
push
sense.
points or whatever. I always end up getting
Always
the same
talking to
person, but-
Lulu. I'm going to always
Dude.
talk to Lulu.
So like you can use like kind of natural logic to figure out what answers things do. And I was like, yeah, if you're just salty and stoic and unfun, which I am every time I play 10, Lulu.
It's like if you're trying to get Slytherin, it's pretty obvious on this BuzzFeed quiz how to get which answers.
Do you enjoy talking to snakes and transforming into...
Do you enjoy mischief?
Yeah, right. So we go to the next area, and there's some fucking cool-ass Machina ruins that we have to walk underneath. And it's
Yeah.
all overgrown, too.
Which you can also see this your first time through. Like, I kind of explored this area 2 weeks ago
I
or
thought you
so.
couldn't go to this area because
No, because
Titus's tummy rumbles.
You couldn't go the way you
couldn't
came
go.
from.
Yeah, you couldn't go back the way you
okay.
came, but you could go in this direction.
If you wanted to
Yeah,
go back
okay.
to the beach or whatever, which I did to
yeah,
just do some exploring.
You don't get
Okay.
anything. You just get to see these ruins and stuff. And interestingly, there's a couple save points that we can't access. And there's
Yeah.
like a treasure chest. So it's like,
Right.
I wonder if we'll be back later.
It's like
I
old.
wonder.
It's like old platformer. It's like, oh, I can't wait till I get the skill to get that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And we're just fucking ambushed right out in this thing.
Yep.
So the blue lion man from earlier comes jumping out of the fucking sky and like
Off the ruins.
lands in front of us.
Titus makes a dumb face.
Titus makes a dumb face, and he looks fucking furious.
Yeah.
And we get right into a battle with him.
Don't talk Miyangi.
We get into a fight with him. It's pretty simple. It's once again kind of a click attack over and over, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one, and again, we can
It
see...
says boss for some reason.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see our, our turn order. I had 2 turns in a row, so I just kind of crunched out a couple cheers.
I almost died.
I just attacked straight through, baby.
I just did a couple cheers, so I didn't take as much damage, and I dealt out more, and took him down with relative ease.
He can use the skill jump on you, the dragoon skill.
The Dragoon,
Yeah.
much like that Sid we all know and love.
Have we played a game where somebody has the jump skill yet?
I think technically 7, because Sid had that.
Limit break. His limit break.
His
was
limit
jumps.
break. Yeah,
That's
it wasn't like explicitly.
Anyway, yeah. So after the fight's over,
Yeah, you don't actually take him down. Waka just interrupts, like, all right, enough of this.
yeah, he's like, "That's enough." Yeah.
The jump attack is pretty silly too, because he has his spear and he basically uses it like a fucking pogo stick.
Yeah. Right.
Like Scrooge McDuck.
So Titus says, "What's up with him?" And Lulu kind of turns around and says,
Oh, I got an overkill on him.
"Oh, did you?"
I just want to let you know the God Gamer thing continues.
She says, "Kimari Ronso of the Ronso tribe. He's learned the fiend's way of fighting."
He's learned the weirding way.
And Titus says, "That's not what I meant." And Waka's like, "Oh, he's another of Yuna's guardians." And like Titus is kind of like, "What?" Like he kind of like looks at Waka like,
It's like, dude, how did you not know that? He was literally there
I know.
guarding her.
He was there in the temple. He was there outside the temple during the ceremony.
know.
Like,
He
he's
saved
been there
her
the whole time.
He
I
saved her when you couldn't.
And then Yuna walks up behind us and says,
Sometimes we don't understand him either. Kumari doesn't talk much anyway. He has protected me since I was a child.
"So like, I like Kimari. Kimari's cool."
Me too. Yeah,
He gets in
seems great.
fights and like, oh, that Kamari he's a rascal.
Dude, I would
Yeah.
like my cat likes to beat up things too.
Imagine if your cat was 9 foot tall, incredibly muscular, and beat up things anytime they got close to you.
I do that often actually.
Like if your cat did that for you.
No, I know. I imagine fish as that all the time.
Oh,
yeah, you were-
I was like, that really happens all the
No,
time.
no, I
Fish
imagine
transforms
it.
into a
Oh yeah,
9
you said
foot-
that when Yuna felt like, oh yeah, that's like fish with Sarah.
Yeah,
Just, like,
yeah, exactly.
Just
Or,
attacking
like,
him on the stairs.
Anytime we were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and they're flying around on Appa, I'm like, that's us flying around on fish. Totally normal stuff. I have every right to
awesome.
call Titus not normal.
But yeah, Kimari walks off like, I don't know if I would say in a huff or what, just stoic.
Yeah.
Dude's just stoic as shit, man.
Yep.
Real mysterious.
Very mysterious.
Yeah.
But that's Kimari. And we kind of are introduced to all of our characters now. But we have another
Tutorial fight.
coming up. We actually have 2 more. Oh.
Yeah.
So the next enemy to come down is a really large flying enemy.
Yeah.
Does anybody-
And Titus says, "A flyer. That's your department, right?" And he says, "True, but
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but,
this thing looks like a manta ray on the top, but on the bottom it's like a feathery kind of gross pterodactyl without a face,
Yeah, right.
and it has pubes.
enhance."
I guess so, yeah.
It's just got a really hairy nards.
It has kind of the same texture as the SpaghettiOs.
Yeah,
right.
just different color palette.
Anyway,
Yeah, he does. He does have very nards.
but Waka says, "Why don't we let our summoner show us what she's made of?"
Hell
And we
yeah.
learn how to switch members. So Final Fantasy X, you can switch party members in battle.
Hell yeah.
Fucking rules.
And it
really
doesn't seem
cool.
to take a turn either.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
So,
It
so
just-
it's not like Pokemon rules where you have to like use your turn to switch out. You can just do it anytime you want.
yeah. And you could just keep going with it theoretically.
So it's almost like you have a party of like more than 3.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Now, if at any point the 3 on-screen characters get 0 HP, that is game over. Even if you have the backup. But yeah.
Yeah.
So swap out if one's about to die.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we switch out for Yuna, and we learn that we can summon with Yuna. We can summon the Aeons, right?
Hell yeah.
So Aeons are pretty cool. They kind of like, when Yuna summons one, it takes the place for Yuna and the rest of the party.
And
for that
the
matter.
whole party, yeah.
Yeah, so the party kind of like runs away. It actually shows them like kind of like get out of dodge or whatever. And then
It's like a mega evolution.
yeah. And
It's a really long animation.
Well, you can make the animation shorter. There's a short-
Gigantamax.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's worth noting that on the Switch you can like swipe from the left of the screen for some quick actions.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the overworld you can like quickly equip potions, but in here you can quickly turn on off long animations. It's
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah, once Velfor is summoned,
Pikachu,
Really kick-ass summon animation as well.
absolutely,
Pikachu for me.
she takes the place of the entire party, and now it's just a one-on-one battle. But you have several different magics at your disposal. You have all the different elements of magic. You have a
Special skill.
special skill that delays the turn of the enemy and does some damage.
Nice.
And all Aeons have their own overdrive bars too, so they also build up like a limit break or an overdrive, so they can use it as well.
Yeah.
And we clearly haven't got there to this point yet, but I love that Yuna has her own overdrive, and then the Aeons have overdrives, and Yuna's overdrive is just start the Aeon in overdrive.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
like you don't even have to build it up; you can just summon it already overdriven.
That's fucking awesome.
It rules. And yeah, so you can use Velfor in this case to defeat this enemy, right?
Yeah.
And really, it's a pretty straightforward back and forth attacking, casting magic, seeing what works.
Another thing I think is if you have the sense thing on, you can get more information about it, like the scan ability or
Right. It'll show you like the HP of the thing you're about to fight, which is nice.
It'll also give you a little like tip for it, where it says like using darkness is a good way to avoid this.
So let's talk about that, because when you win this battle, the next battle you get into is with the exact same enemy. And this time Waka's like, all right,
Let me take care of it
Let
now."
me take care of it this time. And his special skill that he comes with is a darkness attack where he can
Nice.
inflict blind on the enemy. And a lot of these larger enemies or like big heavy hitting physical enemies can be easily
Blinded?
Blound. Trying to smoke that blound.
But yeah. So they can be blinded, and it's very, very effective. I think it's like 1 out of 10 can get through or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really effective,
And it lasts for
Okay.
3 turns.
Yeah.
Which I think
that's an important part too,
Yeah.
because as the game progresses, we'll find that darkness attack is not always 100% accurate. It doesn't always blind. And eventually Waka will get skills that always blind, but only for 1 turn.
Oh, damn.
And so like,
yeah, some strategy plays in.
yeah, so we kind of have to take that into consideration, that it only blinds the enemy for 3 turns, and it's not 100% effective. Sometimes you have to reapply it.
Yeah.
Doing that, though, that pretty much makes this enemy incredibly easy to defeat. Like,
Yeah.
even though it takes a long time with the amount of damage that we can roll out, no big deal. But that's really all the tutorial battles that we have here.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like one last one where you have like one of each, just kind of as review.
Exactly,
Where you
it's just
encounter like
like-
one dingo, one condor, one slimy boy, and then
Pop
you just,
quiz hot shot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is
And-
one where I accidentally attacked the flan with Titus, and then like Lulu
you
is
just
like
get a game over.
Yeah, Lulu's like remember what I taught? Like kind of she
Yo,
just-
hell yeah.
really?
She she scolds you for like forgetting what
Yo,
she
fuck
just
yeah.
taught you.
God,
That's awesome.
God bless her.
Yeah, I know.
It's also important to mention that Curtis has mentioned this in a previous episode, I'm pretty sure, but in order to get experience, your character doesn't just have to be in the battle like previous
They have
games.
to do an action.
They actually have to do an action. So, like, for example, I had a party that was like...
Just like Pokemon.
Yeah. It was like, unless you get into experience share, which is the later games, which we're not talking about. But there's... I had like Lulu, Yuna, and Waka in a party. So I just went up with Yuna, attacked once, and then switched her out with Titus and finished the battle that way.
Yeah,
So I'm
right.
like, yeah, I got to get that experience.
Yep,
I will
yep.
probably be doing that all
It's
the time.
it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do.
Just get a little bite of the action.
Like to have everyone topped off, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, that's really all the fights, and then you can get into random battles and
Yeah.
try out what you know, and you can get a couple sphere levels, get a couple more stats. and
Yeah,
stuff like
use
that.
the sphere grid.
Yuna can start getting the null elemental skills where she casts it, and whoever she casts it on, they get 1/0 damage attack for that element. So the first one she learns is Null Blaze. If you were to cast that on Titus, and then a fire element attack hit Titus, it would do
nice.
0 damage.
Sick.
Yeah. So you kind of have to have some game knowledge or have seen the enemy do that attack already to know which one to use coming up.
Yeah.
But it's super handy. Super
That's
handy.
really cool.
Yeah. But then we can get back to the beach.
Yeah. I also,
yeah.
we're walking, on our way to the beach, we're like walking under some gorgeous waterfalls.
Oh, it's so nice.
I noticed when we were walking past the waterfall, there's this really nice, I'm not sure if it's just a remaster, but there's a kind of like refractory thing that happens to your model where you actually see a little bit of a ghost of, it's like a really nice little detail where you kind of see like the light kind of, I don't know, dissipate a little bit.
Interesting.
I think also if you open the menu, you can see like actually like there's always going to be a name of wherever you are. Like
Yeah.
like I was talking about nun's room and priest's room.
Nun's
or
room with left
monk's
beef.
room. Yeah. But this area is called Waterfall Way, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, I really like that. This screen
It's very,
is
very, very
pleasant.
nice. This is a good summer game
Yeah.
for us all to imagine if summer were a real thing that we could experience
I
instead
know.
of being completely locked up.
Go listen to it on our YouTube.
Hell yeah.
There you go. But yeah, so we get to the beach, and several of the villagers are already there waiting for us, right?
Yeah.
And like,
And we're following our whole party now.
we're following our party. We see them kind of walking toward the boat. Yeah. And then the villagers are following them. And
If
as
you-
we go,
If you missed those 2 antidotes from the first time
Yep.
we were here, we can go get that.
You can get them.
Or go get the crescent.
The
I mean,
moon
crest.
crest. That one. Crescent moon, yeah.
you can talk to the villagers, and several of them will give you items like remedies and gil and
3 Phoenix down.
Someone's like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
yeah.
Ether.
A seeker's ring.
Yes.
So
you
that's,
get
that's
that
a
from
Harry Potter thing, I think.
Yeah. You get that from the like priest or whatever.
You get
Yeah.
some muns.
Yep.
Someone gave me 3 Phoenix Downs, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
it's
I got
good
an
to have.
ether.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet ether.
Yeah.
Sweet ether.
I do want to talk about that too. The guy says, "Oh, there are so many things I want to tell her."
I know. There's a guy simping for Yuna.
But seeing her there, smiling, I just can't say them. Hey, you! The sea's crawling with fiends, so give this to Yuna, okay? And then he gives you an ether.
yeah.
Hey, you! I wanted to give this so that Yuna could huff this ether.
Yeah,
You do it for
right,
me
yeah.
instead.
I made her this mixtape.
Yeah. So everybody boards his boat. It's a large boat, right?
Yeah.
It's
a
got
ship.
yeah, it has it looks more like a ferry, like something that would be
Yeah.
going down the old Mississippi.
Hell yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Like a little steamship with the like big paddles around.
Something old Mark Twain would be on. But yeah, and everybody's waving bye to, and Yuna waves bye to them.
One last little child comes running up like
And
late,
crying, yeah.
He's like waving, but also like sobbing into his arm, dabbing, but like a sad dab.
Sad Dab.
Sad dab.
I want to start a band called Sad Dab.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and that's the end of this episode, huh?
Yeah,
We're off now.
we're off.
Oh yeah, then we see a little map icon, just like in
Yep.
old Indiana Jones. You see the little dot of the line
Yeah,
moving around.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
And yeah, that's pretty much that's it for now.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave it.
We're
So
off.
I
Leave
would
it
say
there.
the game has finally begun.
Yeah.
There's a
At
save
this
point
point.
right after this when you're on the boat, so
Yeah.
we'll
so
talk more about
playing
that
with
later.
this.
After a cool like
You
hour
don't
and a
have to you don't have to turn your Switch into sleep and let it sit for a week.
yeah.
Right.
Which also I do want to bring up again. Like I did the same thing that I did before, where I went back and I got rid of the the extra hours that I had on my save because I'm really particular about that. And then like last night when I got to this point, I like saved it but left my Switch on, and then I went back to it today and it wasn't fucking doing that again.
Yeah.
Does the game has to be paused? I think it has to do that.
Well,
or in game. I don't know.
I'm not sure what it is, but I think like it might have even been like patched out because I think I installed an update, but I'm not sure. I have no idea why.
Yeah, mine got an update recently too.
So I
Yeah.
wonder if that was like a thing. And I was trying to find like release notes for it to see if I was just going like completely insane or something. But
Yeah.
no, it did it last week and it was annoying to me. I was like, well, that kind of sucks that I have to
Yeah.
think about that every time. And I'm like, oh, sick. Now it doesn't have to.
Anyway,
Anyway,
So there's a lot to talk about on the boat. So the next episode is going to be
boat stuff.
all the boat stuff, and then the first FMV that happens once we land. So we do land in a new area, but
Yeah,
there's
this boat
a lot
isn't
to
just
say.
gonna go on a cruise and come back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We have a destination in mind.
Right, yeah.
Luca, right?
Eventually,
That's our end goal. Oh wait, that's where the tournament is.
that's where the
that's what the tournament is. Yeah. But Yuna's job is to visit all the temples. So
Right.
there is going to be one on the way.
Get all the gym badges.
That's right. At the very end, we'll climb Victory Road and fight Sin.
We are currently on the SSN.
Dunna, dunna.
We're gonna fight-
Dunna,
we're gonna fight
dun, dun, dun,
Blue.
dun, 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 diddle-diddle-doon, diddle-diddle-doon, diddle-diddle-doon. Sorry.
We're gonna kill Blue's Radicate on this ship.
But after we're done, we go into the post game where we go to Mount Silver and we fight the original hero of FF9.
Cloud.
Oh yeah, FF7 Cloud. We fight him and we fight his level 81 Pikachu. Because like we said, Alex named Veilfor Pikachu, so we can have one too. But that Snorlax,
We're ready.
It knows rest.
God, Generation 2 Pokemon is so good.
I love it.
So fucking good. Thank you, Iwata.
Thank you. Wow.
Would you like to pray? It's like yes, no, or only for Iwata.
Only for Iwata.
You replace all the Confederate statues with statues of a water.
Please understand.
My only podcast news to talk about is that I saw a picture of Hironobu Sakaguchi, and now I'm thinking about growing a mustache.
Hell
That's
yeah, you
really all I
should.
have to talk about. Anybody else?
Not really news because this happened several years ago, but I found this weird picture of Nobuo Uematsu wearing a hilarious yellow, mustard yellow shirt that says beer on it, and I kind of was talking about it to some friends online, and one of my friends actually found that shirt on eBay as an extra large, and I fucking bought it. So I have that shirt. I never wear it because it's enormous on me, but it's the same exact fucking shirt that he has. And on the back of it, it says time for beer or something. And it's like a beer gas dispenser or some shit. I'll post a picture of it.
All right, that sounds awesome.
I'll get a picture of me doing the exact same pose as Nobuo in it.
That's so good. All right, well, let's get on the boat.
We're on a boat. Remember that song?
Remember that?
I'd rather not.
Will he is indeed.
Well, he was.
Will
He was.
I think that was Will I Am with Lonely Island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Who cares?
Theme music every week this season is by Night of the Round. Thank you guys so much. That fucking slaps. I feel so good.
Oh,
every time
it's so good.
It hits so hard.
I got my Moogle mask right here.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the Moogle pentagram. It's so
Hell
good. Yeah, go support them on KOTR Metal. You can find them everywhere. Or Night of the Round Music. I forget. Well, there's a link in the show notes. You just go click on that.
Yeah.
Feature music is by Nobuo Uematsu with help of Masashi Hamauzu and Junya Nakano.
Hell yeah.
Yep, I got
Legends, each one.
every one. Even though I just learned about the other two a few weeks ago. Newcomers, we have a hotline. If you feel like hopping in, leaving us any thoughts coming up, or texting us if you have any anecdotes or trivia or just, memories from this game of things coming up, we might feature you during a break or in the middle of whatever. We'll drop you in.
We'll find a spot.
That is 530 Materia. It is a real number. You'll know you got us because you'll hear the fanfare. And after the beep, leave a message. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be our secret.
Let's have our black mage show you what I mean.
We are.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. When did fine stop meaning fine?
This is fine.
That's exactly when.
Yep.
We are every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube if you want to listen to some nice environmental sounds from the game.
Yeah.
I'm doing that, uploading that almost one a day as I'm doing the research for upcoming episodes. Leave us a review on iTunes if you so wish.
It's a huge help.
Helps. We made it to the top 50 in New Zealand.
Hell yeah. Shout outs to New Zealand. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Good job with COVID
like-
down there.
I like that. Yeah, good work. We should take the tutorial.
Inbox.
Yeah.
Do you have any Lulus in your country that can yell
Let's
at us
have
to
new-
get it right?
Let's have New Zealand show you what I mean.
I liked the movies that were filmed there, such as The Lord of the Rings.
What we do in the
Others,
shadows.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yes. I almost said I did the theme song because that's what the old notes say, but I didn't. We also have a TeePublic.
Oh, we do.
If you're a newcomer and also didn't know that. We
And
have
with
a
a Vinyl Banassi shirt.
or
It's
a-
real good.
We also have
dumb.
Bone Villages for Lovers, which is, if the famous Virginia is for Lovers parody shirt. And also Winners Don't Read. Other jokes.
Other jokes from other seasons that if you were
You had to
just
be there.
chiming into this
You
one,
had
you'd
to
like,
be there.
Yeah, you had to be there, but it's the emoji bee.
It's funny to me.
Next year, will Carl's joke Seto O'Rourke make sense?
It already doesn't make sense. That and making fun of Andrew Yang
Yeah.
in the fucking basement episode.
Oh my god.
But yeah, anything else, guys?
Have a good one, listener.
Yeah, be good to yourself.
Be safe.
Be good to others.
Come watch us on Twitch. We're having a good time.
Yeah, wear a fucking mask.
Oh, wear a fucking mask. All right. Well, I'm done. I've been disgraced.
I'm done. I'm very sleepy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm very hungry.
Let's McDonald's, 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 McDonald's.